On a hot Sunday afternoon, a man drove up to his house and slowed as the gate began to open. The street was quiet, the kind of calm that makes you think nothing unusual could happen. Out of nowhere, a motorbike pulled up beside his car. Two robbers were on it. One leaned toward the driver's window, pointing a gun and demanding money and valuables. The moment turned tense in seconds. What they didn't know was that the man was prepared. Staying composed, he reacted immediately to protect himself. The sudden resistance caught the robbers off guard. Startled and realizing things were no longer going their way, the robbers panicked. They abandoned their motorbike and ran off down the street, abandoning the robbery and disappearing from sight. Shaken but safe, the man drove fully into his compound and closed the gate behind him. What began as a normal afternoon ended as a reminder that danger can appear without warning and that awareness and readiness can make all the difference. A man rides his motorbike through morning traffic on his way to work. He slows down and stops at a red light. Engines hum around him. Suddenly, another bike pulls up close beside him. The men are on it. They were armed robbers. The robbers lifts his jacket just enough to show a weapon. The rider freezes for a moment, then slowly raises his hands. He carefully steps away from his bike. The robbers jump off their bike and grab his. The man backs away, head down, acting scared. A few steps later, he keeps walking, putting distance between himself and them. Traffic begins to move. The light turns green. As the robbers struggle to speed off, the man suddenly turns and pulls out his gun and took out both thieves, saving the day. A robber walked into the store pretending to be a customer. Within seconds, everything changed. He grabbed one of the sales girls and held her close, using her to threaten everyone else while demanding money. The cashier trembled. Unsure of what to do, the robber kept shouting, trying to rush the theft and force compliance. Then, without warning, another female employee made a bold decision. Seeing an opening, she charged at the robber, shouting for help. The sudden resistance caught him completely off guard. Startled and no longer in control, he released the sales girl and ran. He bolted out of the store toward his motorbike, desperate to escape. The employees didn't give up. They ran after him, yelling and drawing attention from everyone nearby. Hearing the cries for help, passers-by stopped and realized what was happening. Several people rushed in and confronted the robber. Surrounded and overwhelmed, he was forced to the ground and restrained as others continued calling for help. What began as a terrifying hostage situation ended with courage, teamwork, and people refusing to look away, turning fear into action and stopping the robber from getting away. On a sunny Monday afternoon, a woman walks home from the market carrying her purse. The road is active with people moving in different directions. A motorbike suddenly speeds in and stops directly in front of her. Two men move quickly toward her and grab her purse. She resists and holds onto it firmly. The struggle slows the attackers. She does not let go and continues to resist while drawing attention to her actions. People nearby begin to notice what is happening. The attackers abandon the attempt and rush back onto their motorbike. As they try to escape, the bike wobbles and loses balance. Both men fall to the ground. Passers-by immediately surround them. The men are prevented from escaping and restrained. Someone retrieves the purse and returns it to the woman. Authorities are contacted. The woman stands aside, shaken but safe, holding her belongings. People disperse as the situation is brought under control. An armed robber forced his way into a building, creating instant panic. He grabbed the cashier and held him close, using him as a shield while demanding access further inside. Keeping the cashier in front of him, the robber moved deeper into the building and started down the stairs, trying to escape with control of the situation. Every step was tense, the cashier clearly terrified but trying to stay calm. Halfway down, everything changed. They suddenly came face to face with a group of jujutsu fighters who were in the middle of a training session. The fighters stopped and looked up, immediately understanding something was wrong. Seeing the number of trained fighters in front of him, the robber hesitated. Fear took over. He released the cashier and turned to run, but it was too late. The fighters reacted quickly, blocking his escape and stopping him before he could get far. Overwhelmed and unable to break free, the robber was restrained as others called for help. The cashier was pulled to safety, shaken but unharmed. What started as a terrifying hostage situation ended with awareness, discipline, and teamwork, proving that the wrong place at the wrong time can end a crime just as fast as it begins. On the 3rd of February 2026, an off-duty police officer was sitting calmly in a barbing salon, getting a haircut and chatting lightly with the barber. It felt like a normal day, nothing out of the ordinary. Suddenly, shouting and panic broke out just outside the salon. People began screaming, and it became clear that a robbery was happening right on the street. The off-duty officer immediately recognized the danger, without hesitation, and moved to help. Seeing the threat to innocent people, he acted quickly to stop the robbery and protect the victims. The robber was forced to abandon the crime and flee as the situation was brought under control. The people outside were able to get to safety, shaken but unharmed. Within moments, the chaos was over. What started as a routine haircut turned into a moment where training, courage, and quick action made the difference, reminding everyone that heroes don't always wear uniforms in public. On a quiet Friday evening, a quiet moment inside a liquor store was suddenly shattered when a robber rushed in and attacked the cashier, trying to take control of the counter. The cashier stumbled but didn't panic, refusing to give in to fear. As the robber tried to force the situation, the cashier stood his ground and fought back to protect himself and the store. The struggle was tense, drawing the attention of anyone nearby, but the cashier stayed focused and determined. Caught off guard by the resistance, the robber lost confidence. Realizing the situation wasn't going as planned, he backed away and ran out of the store, abandoning the robbery. The cashier stood there, shaken but safe, having defended himself and his workplace. What could have ended in disaster became a story of courage and quick thinking, proof that bravery can change the outcome in a critical moment. An armed robber walked into the grocery store and tried to take control of the situation, shouting demands and creating panic among customers. The room went quiet as fear spread, and people backed away from the counter. Two employees noticed that the robber was distracted and struggling to control the scene. Staying calm, they acted together to protect themselves and everyone in the store. They moved quickly, confronting the robber and breaking his momentum. Caught off guard by the resistance, the robber lost confidence. He stumbled back, unable to continue the robbery, and dropped what he was holding. The employees kept pressure on him, forcing him toward the exit. Within moments, the robber fled the store, abandoning the crime. Customers were safe, the employees stood shaken but unharmed, and the store returned to calm. What began as a frightening robbery attempt ended because of courage, teamwork, and quick thinking, saving the day when it mattered most.